we pretty much know on a day-to-day basis that we are being watched by the government. Things that we say online, things that we say over the phone, things that we say in any kind of public forum whatsoever. However, some more disturbing news about this come out according to the Ottawa radio station News 1130. The Harper government is monitoring political groups, political chat rooms, chat groups, and bulletin board services. The Harper government has been monitoring political messages online, even correcting what it considers to be misinformation. One local expert says the government is taking things too far. Under the pilot program, the Harper government paid a media company $75,000 to monitor and respond to online postings about the East Coast seal hunt. Think about that. Our tax dollars are being used to tell us that our opinion is wrong. No, that's not how democracy works, Stephen Harper. We tell you, the citizens of Canada, tell you what our opinion is. You don't tell us what our opinion is. Bourgeois democracy, blah, blah, blah. We already know. Now, there's nothing wrong with open debate about ideas and people expressing opinions and having lively, active debates about what policy should be and what our positions on things are. Mao was a great example of that. The mass airings, where people gathered in the hundreds, the thousands to discuss ideas. The struggle sessions where people battled over ideas, speaking back and forth over theory of also groups that involve hundreds, if not thousands of people. These are the greatest examples of expression of free speech that has, frankly, ever happened. People of contending ideas meeting in public places to battle out ideas in public for everyone to see, which, to my knowledge, there's nothing in actual comparison, save, anything like YouTube or the internet or something like that, which is, even then, I would say not even as great, because it's just people talking online and not people actually, hashing out ideas in public. But it definitely shows that the government is spying on what we say in public forums, and then trying to correct us as we're trying to express our ideas. Although the government's job is to take our ideas and follow through on them, not to tell us what our ideas are. But what can we really expect from the Harper government? The government that decides that even though 75 to 77% of people in Canada don't agree with the Afghanistan war, that we should go on and keep spending money on it and carrying it out. That despite public opinion, continually making cuts to healthcare, even though we don't want it. Or trying to get us involved in more wars, even though we don't want to and can't afford to. Not to mention the fact this is the man from the most dubious election we have ever had in our history. I believe it probably is the most dubious election that we have ever had in Canadian history. The robocall scandal is massive and a bigger deal than people are actually even accepting it. It's a bigger deal, and a lot of people are just playing it off like it's nothing. Now, this is the man who also tried to destroy Helena Guergis' political career because she disagreed with him. She went ahead and had a private investigator bring allegations of criminal conduct, including fraud, extortion, and involvement in prostitution. They brought it to the party and then kicked her out of the party because of it, accusing her of all these illegal acts, brought the information to the party, even though an RCMP investigation, our federal police agency, cleared her of any wrongdoing whatsoever. Of course, she attempted to sue and get that for slander, libel for what they said, and all the court said was that they were not the right body to go ahead and do that. Now, this is how that situation was reported by the Ottawa Citizen. The Prime Minister's office never publicly disclosed the exact nature of these acts, but Georges claimed that they included unproved allegations associating with prostitutes and cocaine use. Unproved allegations, ones that aren't even being made public, and the federal police literally cleared her of any wrongdoing. All of this was, obviously to a lot of people, just to destroy the woman's career because she disagreed with him. Now, personally, for the police or the government monitoring political opinion, not really a big deal to me personally, because I do have 700 plus videos online publicly that anyone can access with my political opinion on it. So it wouldn't actually be necessary for the police to, or the government, or CSIS to go ahead and actually do anything like that to me, considering so much of it is made already public as it is. After all, the police have already made it clear that they know who I am. And they've made that clear more than once. I've had police refer to me as Maoist rebel. They do know who I am. Now, I like this whole big thing about how leftists want big government to spy on everybody and intrude in our lives, record everything we say, and try to manipulate our opinion and control us. Well, we have Stephen Harper, the head of the Conservative Party of Canada. Possibly one of the most right-wing governments that we've ever had. Possibly. Doing all of those things that are supposedly the work of the leftists. So what's going on here? It was Stephen Harper who shut down Parliament so that we couldn't investigate him or his government into the allegations of Canada's complicity in torture that was going on in Afghanistan, which we were warned about by various people, but Parliament was mysteriously shut down before that investigation could begin. So what is it saying that it's all leftists who try to do this, and leftists trying to control our lives, and leftists that are recording us, and left governments interfere, it's big government, and all those other ad hominems and whatever. This totalitarian strain that's definitely running through this country right now, it's coming out of the Conservative Party. I mean, this is pretty obvious. Look at everything that's going on that's right-wing, everything that's going on that's totalitarian. It's coming right out of the Conservative government that's in power right now. It's coming out of Stephen Harper. It's coming out of the Conservatives. This is actually very obvious. Now, if all of this wasn't enough, this is actually coming out of Conservatives themselves. Not just the ones elected into Parliament, but actual ground-level Conservatives that are actually defending this measure. As an example of this, here's an actual comment that was left on the article. This is a normal democratic process. It is amazing that fruitcake liberals and do-nothing welfare bums complain about our government keeping us safe and doing what's right for Canadians. We don't need some professor telling us what elected powers with the majority government can do. If he thinks it's so bad, he should run for office. Honest Canadians have nothing to hide. Well, this obviously unenlightened individual thinks that fruitcake liberals and do-nothing welfare bums are the only ones who have to worry about the government spying on them. And, of course, they would be the only ones who have any concern over the government spying on them. And you'll notice he does return to that usual, if you've got nothing to hide, then you've got no reason to not want to be spied upon. Of course, this is a huge fallacy, because it implies several things. One, it implies the government can't take anything the wrong way, which happens a lot. Two, it implies the government can't do anything unethical with the information. Governments do unethical things all the time, particularly right-wing governments, who are suspected of trying to cover up torture, or spy on you in public, or try to push through oil deals that would kill entire native communities, or keep pushing an immoral and losing war that the vast majority of the population doesn't like. Now, I like how this is all done in the context of keeping us safe. Well, from who? People who disagree with the opinion on the East Coast seal hunt? Are people who disagree with hunting seals, although I do actually disagree with those people, and seal hunting in some contexts is okay, but the people who disagree with the seal hunts are what? Terrorists? Oh, are the seals going online and declaring their hatred for the government and that they plan to revolt or something like that? That's ridiculous. Would you mind go spy on terror cells, not people who disagree with the government position, over seal hunting? This is ridiculous. I mean, this is the same thing like all leftists, all liberals, all environmentalists are somehow terrorists. I mean, it's the same typical thing over and over. I mean, this definitely does show the absolute totalitarian strain that is going through this country right now. Right now. If two people or more people want to argue in some stupid online forum over an idea about something that's not that high in the priority list as a seal hunt is not only going to be spied upon, but have a media company and argue on the government's behalf, pretending to be a citizen of the government. Well, I don't assume that this media company went right in and said, oh, hi, we're paid by the government to interfere with your conversation. I'm going to assume that they were trying to pass themselves off as regular Canadians, thus distorting the perception of what the Canadian public's opinion actually is. But then again, that's nothing new for capitalism. It's nothing new for distorting the public's perception in order to support the opinions of the ruling elite, even as something as innocuous as the East Coast seal hunt. This totalitarianism is completely coming out of the right wing. It is completely coming out of Parliament, and it is coming out of the Conservative Party and Stephen Harper.